Okay, so today we're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm sitting with Mikee Riggs, and we're talking about his comic shop, Scum Pit Comics, and his toy company, Scum Pit Toys.
Yeah, all the things. We're talking about all the things.
All of them.
Yeah.
All.
So like sit tight, 'cause we didn't already have this conversation. We're just starting right now.
So, how you doing?
Good. Yeah, tired all the time.
Yeah? How's work?
Works good. We're store's plugging away. Yeah, like we've had the store open now for about 3 months.
Yeah.
We've definitely seen some consistent growth. We've definitely been doing a lot for the community, and we've definitely been able to just kind of establish what Scum Pit Comics is.
Nice, nice. And so this is just one of the many hats you wear, right? You've got a few jobs going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about your other work.
So I do film. That's actually like my main gig, is I work in film. I've done Better Call Saul, I've done Cosmos, I've done Roswell, I've done Dark Winds, I've done all these different shows.
Nice.
I did art, I did costumes, I've done a couple different departments. It's fun, film's nice. I also have done the toy company. I've been Scum Pit Toys I've been doing toys for about 15 years.
Dang.
Yeah, so I've been making toys for about 15 years. I love that, can't get enough of that. It's been good. We've definitely been doing a lot of stuff. Probably, by the time this is shown, we've already released the last Hunter X release online and done all that kind of stuff.
Right, your next show.
Yeah, so we're getting ready for our next show, yeah, so we're doing that, but we definitely have our lotto that's ending probably tomorrow.
Nice.
And then, just the store too. And then, whenever I get the chance, I try to write comic books. Because why not?
For your own toy company, correct?
Yeah, for me.
For your own IP. Nice. Okay. So before we dive into that, I'm going to take it a little step back and ask you, when was the first time you remember playing with toys and being like, this is it, this is my jam?
It's funny, like I have a lot of like specific toy memories, like as a kid, because I loved toys as a kid.
Yeah.
We had a lot of them are at my grandparents' house actually. Because I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house as a kid, and my grandmother had a sewing machine, one of those industrial big sewing machines.
Nice, yeah.
And I used to treat it as like this big mobile command center for all the toys I had. So I'd like sit under this like giant machine, and it had like all these mechanisms and like different like spots to put toys. So I would just put all these toys there, and basically they'd all fight, and I'd run string and have them like, like doing like. What do they call that shit now when people do it? The fucking like...
The grappling hooks?
Yeah, I don't know, like grappling hooks when they like fucking zip lines. Like they'd be like zip lining all over, and I would do that under her sewing machine. And then there was this like set of giant lava rocks on the front side of their house, like hidden behind a bunch of trees. Mm-hmm. It's really weird, like design choice by the landscaper.
Yeah, yeah.
And I used to turn that into this big like play area, and I would like had like one of the lava rocks had this like cut groove in it, just the way it had like there had been a pole, like almost like a perfectly had been a pole through it.
Yeah. And
I could just throw like G.I. Joes through it, and they would slide down, and it was just awesome. So like, like G.I. Joes, Ninja Turtles, He-Man, like all that stuff. I had like, and I never like was like, oh, it's just a He-Man day, or it's just it was always just like all of them. They all like were on like different squads and stuff like that, and I would just sit there and just tell stories.
Nice.
It's fun.
That's cool. And then, do you remember when you were introduced to comics? I imagine comics comes later, toys you get when you're like really, really little.
Well, I think you get toys when you're a kid, but I don't think that you have those memories like so heavy, like specific. Like I mean, like we're talking about like from like 2 to 5. I obviously probably played with toys, but like it doesn't hit that way.
Yeah.
My dad took me to a comic book convention. It wasn't like a big comic book convention. It was like a small, in the early 90s, like it's probably like literally 90, 91.
Just like 6 guys in a room.
Kind of thing, yeah. But it was at Memorial Park. Okay. So it was before the Orioles moved to Camden Yards. And I think he just wanted to go because it was at the baseball field.
Nice.
But he took me, and I left with, I think it was Web of Spider-Man 25, which is the green holographic cover.
Oh. Okay.
And I left with an X-Men #1, the Jim Lee gatefold.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was cool because I remember, like, it's funny, as an adult, I remember thinking, wow, I ended up with the gatefold. Because, like, as a kid, you think I would have ended up with, like, one of those singular covers, but I had that gatefold. And I remember that, I don't know how well you know X-Men #1, right? But, like, when you pull out the innards, like the posters that says like, it has like all the X-Men at the time, like everybody who was on an X team.
Yeah.
And I just remember I'd stare at that all the time. I never took it out, I never ripped it out, like obviously, but I'd always just like flip the comic over and try and like figure out everybody's names and all that kind of stuff. And I think I instantly was just like in love with the idea of like acquiring knowledge, you know, like and just like learning about that kind of stuff and learning who does what and why.
Right. No, and the X-Men is a great example of like variety in characters too.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me about comics and toys when you get a little older, when you get to like high school. That's usually when people kind of fall out of those hobbies.
Yeah. I did. So I think like you go through elementary school and it was really easy to be into comics then because it was like the X-Men were huge in the 90s, the cartoons helped, you know, Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
I mean like I grew up in that perfect sweet spot era, so I got 80s and 90s like pretty much equally saturated.
Right.
So it was easy, like even my like middle school years were easy. I think by the time we hit high school I was still reading comic books, and a lot of my high school friends, like half of the people I hung out with still read comic books. Nice. But we were, you know, we obviously switched what we were reading. I mean, by the time I'm in high school, I'm reading Preacher, Transmetropolitan, I'm reading Judge Dredd,
yeah.
I'm reading...
the Nitty Gritty.
Oh yeah, Chaos Comics, like every Evil Ernie book I can get my hands on, Spawn, like it's all angsty bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's when, like, I think, like, yeah, definitely when I was in high school, X-Force switched over and Milligan and Alred took over, and I just remember thinking that run was amazing. And I read that. Yeah, I never really turned away from it. I never really was one of those people that was like, oh, comics are for kids, or like, no, that wasn't really for me. Like, I collected toys. There's like a brief period of my life that's like 2 years where I stopped.
That's not very long, yeah.
And it was mostly just because I got really into hardcore and I was buying a lot of records, and it was one of those things where it's like you can't afford to do both. So I was just like spending my money on records for a little bit there and going to shows.
Yeah.
But then eventually it was just kind of like no, this is cool too, but I can't. And I went back. I took a break, and then when I went back, it was because of Identity Crisis.
Okay.
When Identity Crisis came out in my 20s, I was like, oh fuck yeah, this is awesome.
I thought you meant you were having an identity crisis.
Oh no, Brad Meltzer. That's all day, dude. Identity Crisis is so good.
Yeah.
And then I was always a Green Lantern guy, like even as a kid.
Yeah.
And I think Hal went crazy when I was like 9 or 10 and destroyed the core, and I took that shit super personally.
Oh, no.
To this day, I still like hate Kyle Rayner. Like I can read Kyle Rayner comics, like I'm not like, oh my god, he's the worst. I saved that shit for Gambit.
Yeah.
But I just like I was like, no, that's not Hal Jordan. I don't care.
You're scorned.
Yeah, I was just like, that's not Hal Jordan. I don't care.
That's not my Hal.
But then when they did Identity Crisis, I came back. I was interested. It was fun. And then there's this scene where Green Arrow and Green Lantern are talking. Well, it's Hal, but Hal's the Spectre at that point. And he just turns to Hal, who's like a ghost, and he's just like, so when are you coming back? And Hal's like, I'm working on it. And then they announced Green Lantern Rebirth, I think like 2 months later. And I was just like, oh, it's fucking on.
Nice.
And at that point, I was just all in again. Like it was like a second, you know.
That's great.
A second Renaissance kind of thing where I was just like, oh, anything, you know, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. And then, how old were you when you started working at a comic shop? Because I know you spent a lot of time.
Yeah, I've worked a lot. Let me think. I've worked at comic shops probably since I was 23.
Okay.
Yeah, because I worked at a couple different local shops. Well, what's funny too is I was one of those kids that just like lived in my comic shop when I was in high school and middle school anyway.
Checks out, yeah.
So, you know, they'd like have you like help them with books and stuff like that, and they like gave you like the shop kid nickname and all that kind of stuff. They called me Zomboy.
That's cute.
At the shop I used to go to when I was a kid. And then and then at some point I started working for a buddy of mine who was like, he owned a store, he was in a hardcore, and I was like, okay, cool, you're in a hardcore and you're into comics, it's perfect. So I worked there for a couple years, and then I worked at another shop, and then eventually I ended up working at the shop that I bought.
Nice.
Yeah, that was the best. Like working for Henry was amazing. He's just like the nicest guy.
Yeah. How long were you with Henry before you turned over?
I worked for Henry for like 3 years solid, and then I left, and that's when I got my job in film, and I went to film full time, and film got really aggressive for a while, so there's like a brief period there where I'm just doing film exclusively.
Yeah. And
then at one point I just kind of went back to Henry and was like, hey man, like I really just need to talk to people about comics. I hate that I'm not talking about what's going on. Like there's so much stuff to talk about. There's so many good books. I just want to be in the mix. And he was just like, yeah, like, just, come do a day. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then, like, time passes, we're sitting there one day, and he's just like, can I talk to you? He's like, you just want to buy the place? And I was like, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. It was the best.
I didn't realize he came to you with the offer. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. It is funny that, like, sometimes the best way to stay with comics is you literally have to be in shop weekly, seeing what's coming in to be able to keep up with it. Because there's times where I've not been in the comic shop, and it's like, every Sunday I'm going to make it my thing to go in and pick up weeklies and stay current and stay in the conversation, and that's just not possible without having to clock in.
I mean, like, I never stopped reading. Like, even when I wasn't working, I was still reading. I got more selective, obviously, because, when you work at a comic shop, you got carte blanche, and you're just like, yo, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, for me, there was a point when I realized I had to take a step back and not read as much as I was reading, because I wanted to make sure that if I was creating, I wasn't taking from other things. That's like, I was really trying to make sure that I was being very conscious of what I was building.
Yeah, you don't want to be influenced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, you're always influenced, right? Like, I mean, like, you want to sit here and say that you're creating something completely original, but, like, everything has got something, even if it's like, just tapping you on the back of the shoulder or something like that, there's something guiding you, right?
Why Scum Pit? Why the name Scum Pit? What led down?
No, I get this shit all the time. When we opened the store, because obviously we took the store over, right? And it was originally called Lobo Comics, and now it's called Scum Pit Comics. And one of the dudes who comes in all the time, he's a big Power Rangers guy, which is funny because we like a lot of the same shit. He was very much like, love the store, man. He's like, I love everything you did. I hate the name. And I was just like, cool, why? And he's like, oh, Scum Pit. Like, what is that? And I was like, I mean, it's a thing. Like,
yeah.
And he was, but then people ask me, they're like, why do you call the store Scum Pit? Where did you come up? Well, it's not really the store. Obviously, it's because we called the toy company Scum Pit Toys. So I'll tell them that first a lot of the time. That's the first answer is,
right.
We named the store after the toy company because it's basically like a small headquarters for the toy company now.
Yeah.
And some people go, oh, but then other people realize that's not a real answer.
Yeah.
And then they go, no. Why did you call it Scum Pit, period? And I'm like, oh, okay. So the answer, again, is because of, like, I grew up in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So Playmates was, like, my favorite toy company as a kid. You talk to Crusaders, Ninja Turtles, Earthworm Jim, Dick Tracy. Well, not except for my Ninja Turtles, but that's a whole conversation. We need to go down that road. I have all of it. Like, I have complete runs of everything else. Like, I live for all that stuff. I'm a little pickier with the Turtles just because I think that line's oversaturated. But anyway, like, Playmates was like that for me. And, like, Playmates has that, like, boom, boom, right? Obviously, it's one word, but for me, it was like Playmates, like. So when I branded it and I rebranded the company and really was like, this is going to be a toy company versus just being me, I was like, I need a name that's like snappy and just speaks to the ethos of what I'm about. And what I'm about is like skateboard culture, hardcore, B, like gross out trauma B movies, like schlock ass comic books, like Chaos Comics and stuff like that. Like, I'm about scummy shit for the most part, like, right?
Okay.
But on top of that, like, the pit aspect of that is like, there's so many iconic things that the term pit is attached to, right? Like, even locally, like, our college team plays at the pit.
Okay.
But like, so it's kind of even there, but I'm not a sports guy, so it's not really that. But like, just funny. Sarlacc pit, slime pit.
Yeah.
Did you ever see PCU?
Mm-mm.
All the denizens and like the degenerates in PCU live in this place called the Pit.
Okay.
And like the movie ends with them being like, let's put out flyers and say tonight at the Pit everyone gets laid, because the name of the band is Everyone Gets Laid.
That's funny.
But you know what I'm saying, like the Pit, So it's like all these things are things I love. I love PCU. I think the movie's fucking amazing. I love He-Man. Mm-hmm. So like Slime Pit, right?
Yeah.
Fucking everybody loves Boba Fett, Sarlacc Pit, right? So like, so you're saying like it's like these pits have existed for years, and I was just like, there just needs to be another one. Like, what's the next pit? And I was like, well, then it's the Scum Pit. Yeah. Shit, man. Fucking Beverly Hills 90210. They eat at the Peach Pit.
That's so funny.
Like, pits are everywhere. Like, so I think that's where it is for me. It's like hearkening back to like a very type of like 90s iconography, and that but just putting like a little bit of a different twist on it, and just being like, yeah, it's a Scum Pit, whatever, like deal with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's kind of like the line. That's pretty much like the toy line, right? The company tagline: Scum Pit, deal with it. Like,
nice.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the store. Tell me about your mission. Tell me about what you want to bring to the community. Tell me.
Well, when we went to open the store, I was like, I want the store to feel fun more than anything. Like, I want it to feel immersive. I want it to feel like it has something to offer you. As far as like my mission statement was, I was very much like, you know, I want to make sure that we're representing smaller press, smaller toy companies, everything. I just wanted it to be about, just like helping the community out in the sense that like I want to give people a platform.
Yeah.
So there was that. The other thing is I wanted to make sure we were amazingly priced. I didn't want anybody. Basically, I think of like owning a store as like having a party at your house. Like
I feel that, yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like you're basically like people are coming into your home and you're entertaining them and you're putting a smile on their face and you're cracking jokes with them. And when they leave, they should want to come back.
Yeah.
They should leave thinking, oh man, I had such a good time. Of course, the next time I go somewhere, I'm going to go back.
Right.
And for me, that's how you build community, and that's the most important thing to me is community. Like I've gone into this with the intent that like I really do want to build this incredible space for people to share ideas, share art, share passions, and just like, you know, grow into new things. I think everybody gets really bogged down with nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I think they get really comfortable with this idea of like, oh, I'm the Transformers guy, or I'm the Ninja Turtles guy, or I'm the G.I. Joe guy. And that's fine to some degree. Like, of course, like, if you're passionate about something, like, you should always love that thing. Like, there's no reason not to. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But I think that when you, like, identity track to something like that, and you get stuck in that, like loop of sorts, where you're like, oh, well, NECA just put out this Ninja Turtle, I should buy it, and then, oh, I have it in it, oh, and then NECA put it out again, they changed the bandana color, I should buy it again. And it's just like, dude, like you're playing yourself. NECA's not even playing you at that point, you're playing you.
Yeah.
And it's because you're so caught up in this idea that you have to have everything for this one thing, instead of just like a little bit of everything, you know?
Right.
Like, and I think that like, it's not just like action figures, obviously. There's comic book collectors who do that shit, and they're like, I have every Amazing Spider-Man. It's like, cool, that's rad. Do you read anything else? No.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's the problem. Like, if you have every Amazing Spider-Man, I'm not gonna say shit to you, but if you have every Amazing Spider-Man, but then you also tell me, like, you know what I really love? Like, P. Craig Russell. I'm like, oh shit, that's rad. You know,
right,
like,
right.
yeah, like.
It's more of a love for the industry rather than just that one specific
Be an onion. Have layers, you know.
Yeah.
Be an ogre. Be an onion. Have layers, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's not just comic books. It's not just like mainstream toys. It's the same with all this nonsense. Like, you meet people and you're like, oh man, I like this thing, and they're like, yeah, I like the Kumon. I'm like, I like the Kumon too. Like, I have all of them, and I'm like, cool. What else do you have?
Just Kumon.
Just Kumons.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, why, bro? That's boring. Like this is fun. Like, this is a smattering of all these different people. There's stories behind all this stuff, you know?
Right,
There's intent from different artists and different mentalities. Like, don't get caught up in this idea that you have to, like, complete the checklist. The checklist is fucking basic.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just, like, I want to try and show people how much stuff is out there.
Right.
So I'm like, look, we do... Like, I want to carry more Glyos. I want to carry more Mythic Legions. Like, I want to carry all these things where people are like, I've never seen these in person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. That's why we do this.
Right. And having it affordable so that they actually can enjoy it instead of just like, I've seen it, I'll never have it.
Oh yeah, well, I've gone to shops and they buy that stuff, but they buy it from the retailer. At the retailer, not even at the wholesale price, at the actual price.
Oh, dang.
So they're buying it at the $40, MSRP, and then they have to sell it in their store for $60. And it's like, well, you're not helping yourself. You're not helping the customer. Like, no one's getting fucking helped in that situation. You're playing yourself because you're not willing to look into whether or not you can wholesale.
Yeah.
And then you're playing the customer because the customer's like, oh, I've never seen this in person. I should get this. And it's like, No, like everything that's in the store like that, we make sure that like, and I can't even tell you how often someone's like, I can't believe the price on this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to make a buck off you. Well, I mean, I have to.
A little bit,
right?
yeah.
But I mean, I'm not trying to like war profit off of you, basically.
Yeah.
Like I'm not an arms dealer. I'm a fucking toy maker. You know, it's not the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the events that you are trying to bring to the shop.
So we're doing more comic stuff, right? So right off the bat, the first event we did was a Kickstarter launch for a comic book that we helped produce called Redeemer. Mm-hmm. And that funded. It was awesome.
Nice.
We should have that soonish.
Congratulations.
We'll probably do an event for my comic when my comic actually lands, so we can do like a release party. Mm-hmm. We just did a drink and draw at the store like yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was great. And it's nice to have community come in, talk, have a couple artists just kind of help people, guide people through their process and see if it helps people like expand on how they do things.
Yeah.
We have the Albuquerque Comic Collectors Club come in once a month, and they get to sit there and swap books and trade, and then they look through our stuff. And like, I've also kind of thought that because I appreciate how those guys do things, I save stock, and I'm going to start putting stock out exclusively first for them and stuff like that. Like, I want to make sure that there's incentives. So not even so like because the club is 100% like come join, right?
Yeah.
So there's no like exclusivity. It's more just like that's incentive for people who have been on the fence about it to go and be like, oh well, I should go because there's going to be some new books. And maybe you'll make a friend, like that's the best.
Yeah.
So I think it's stuff like that where it's like, for me, it's like I really want people to use these things as opportunities to meet new people that are passionate about the stuff they're passionate about. We, for the Hooligan Club, right, for our subscription service, we offer everybody a quarterly club book.
Nice.
So I get the entire set back, the same number one, and I pick out a number one every quarter, and I start everybody on that book.
Nice.
And yeah, some people will come in and be like, oh, that wasn't for me. But some people are going to come in and go, oh, I didn't even try that. But for me, the thing I'm most looking forward to seeing is when two people are just standing in line waiting to check out, and they're both like, oh, well, did you read the club book? And it's like, yeah, what'd you think? And it's more just about helping people find common ground to have conversations,
Yeah, no, that's really smart.
Yeah, I don't know. But I just want people to interact more.
Yeah. So you mentioned your comic book.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Tell me about your characters.
So, let me think, 2019 is about 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. But it's longer if you took the time that it just sat in limbo, thanks to a certain someone who didn't make my toys for 3 years, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah, the hardship of being an artist.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, at this point, I get shit in 6 months or whatever. No, it's one of those things where like I've been working on the Cultist universe for probably like 7-8 years.
Nice.
And I always wanted to do comics. I mean, obviously that's my first love. Like comic books are my first love. Like that's like toys and comic books obviously like go hand in hand. But like comic books are the thing that made me want to like obsess on characters and stories and things like that. Really.
Right.
So I was like, I always wanted to do a comic book. That was always my dream. Even when I was a kid, I thought I started making toys later. It just that didn't even like dawn on me something you could do, right?
Yeah.
But like I always knew I wanted to make comic books. So I finally was in this situation where I met Ryan. Ryan Genovese is the artist on the book.
Nice.
2 years ago, because we do a May show every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years ago, or right before probably around this time, honestly, I met Ryan, we started talking, he did some design work for me, and then I had him draw the flyer for that May show, which was a Cultist show.
Okay.
And when I saw the flyer, and I saw that he like perfectly mixed this like classic dark fantasy aesthetic that like a traditional illustrator would, with the weird kind of cartooniness of the fight figure style that we make our toys in. Mm-hmm. It felt like almost like Eric Powell, right? Like that's what when I saw it, I was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of Eric Powell.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, I love this. And I was like, so I immediately called Ryan and was like, can we just make a comic book? And he was like, really? And I was like, how fast could you draw like 8 pages?
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know, it's like March. He's like, I could probably have them done in a month. And I was like, sick, let's do it. So he literally, the dude's the best, right? He like just crushed 8 pages, and we did a mini comic, and it was the death of one of the characters.
Oh, no.
And I retired that character at that show and just was like, we're not making this character anymore.
What was the character?
Oh, it was this fox. His name was Fen.
Aww.
And Fen, Fen Fox. Yeah, well, I mean, they're all named after black metal bands.
Oh, that's
but Fen was, his whole thing was basically that he used like hex magic, and he used like like sin magic. So basically, like his whole thing is like the more he like the sicker he is, and the more diseases he has, and basically like the more he gives in any sort of carnal desires and like has repercussions for it, the worse his magic actually gets, and the more it grows.
Okay.
So like he, it's funny. So like basically like he was a lot of people's favorites of the original 3.
I was gonna say that sounds sick.
Yeah, I love the character. I didn't love the arm design of the toys.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't really love these arms. They make them look dinky. But I wanted something big for the show, so I was like, let's kill one of the original 3 characters.
Yeah.
So we killed Fenn. I did severed heads for that show. I did a final run of the Fenn that I was like hyper detailed. Like I really went in with a lot of shading and everything. I really tried to build it out.
Yeah.
And that was it. I retired the figure, and we haven't made a Fenn since. I haven't painted a Fenn since.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. There's stakes. You know, like when people came to the show, there was a severed Fenn head on a pike you could take pictures with.
Yeah.
It was fun. And like I think that was when I was like, we need to do more of this.
Yeah.
So he did a second mini comic with me, and then it was at that point that I was like, how do you feel about just doing a full book? And he's like, what did you think? And I was thinking like 64-page story,
That's
and then
not
we'll
too
add
bad.
in the two mini comics with it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, actually, in fact, let's just do 4 mini comics, because I was planning on doing 2 more with him.
Mm-hmm.
I had already planned to do one that came with the playset.
Oh, nice.
And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I wrote it out. He started drawing it, and immediately became very clear that like it was a thing.
Nice.
Like Brian's a beast. He did 70 pages,
Wow.
and it's the first time he's ever done anything like that too.
Yeah.
So it was just the fact that he met and exceeded expectations is just incredible.
Yeah.
But the other issue is that there was still supposed to be, we guaranteed 4 mini stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to talk to Chuck Beebe, who did Black Metal for Oni Press.
Oh, nice.
And I
That's
asked Chuck to
serious.
fill in and do those other 2.
Mm-hmm.
So in the final book, I get to work with Ryan, who's brand new, and do, 86 pages of comic books with Ryan. But I also got to do 16 pages with a seasoned veteran like Chuck Beebe.
Which is super exciting.
Which is very exciting. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, and I love Chuck, and I love his work on like Stone Cold Lazy for Decibel magazine and stuff like that. So that was just the best. Like the whole experience was just the best.
That's great. That's good. And that was someone you were talking about for Free Comic Book Day, right?
Yeah, I was hoping I could get Chuck to come out, because like I don't know a lot of people have read. I mean, I know people have read Black Metal. I don't know if a lot of people have read Black Metal.
Yeah.
And I just like, it's so good. It's such a fun book.
Yeah.
So I was just like, man, like if like Chuck comes out, brings some copies of Black Metal, brings some prints, he does amazing art. He's like really fun artist.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, he's done work for like so many other people, that I was just like, oh, it'd be so great if we could just like have him out, and worst case scenario, he could sit there and sign Cultist books. It'd be great.
Right.
So yeah, I talked to Andrew, and hopefully he'll come. I talked to Chuck, and hopefully he'll come out.
Yeah.
And then we also talked to Andrew McLean, and hopefully Andrew McLean will come out too.
You also said that was going to be your first quarterly book?
Our first quarterly book that we did for the Hooligan Club was Bleeding Hearts, actually.
Oh, okay.
And then our next quarterly book that we're planning on doing is Headlopper 1, yeah.
Nice. That's exciting. So you mentioned that Fenn was one of 3. Tell me about the other 2. Tell me about your toys.
So when we started Cultist, originally there was only going to be 7 characters, because I was designing them with the intent of all of them being like the 7 deadly sins.
Ooh, nice.
So what's funny is that so to go back even further, right? Like I collect fight figures. Like fight figures are like my main Safubi collection, right?
Okay.
That would be these guys. These guys are fight figures. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, cool, no one really makes them anymore. They were pretty much dormant. And I was talking to another toy maker, and I basically was like, I want to bring back fight figures. I want to make fight figures. And they're like, dude, don't. Nobody buys fight figures. They don't sell. Like, it's not going to work. And I was like, well, I don't fucking care about that. I want to do it, Like, I think they're fun.
I
want to bring the fight back.
Yeah. Ooh,
So, yeah.
Hey.
And I did bring the fight back. And, if anybody else is watching this who I'm friends with, let's just remember that I brought the fight back. But, I still like everybody else's fight just as much, but I brought it back. So that said, it was one of those things where I was like, the only problem with that is that, like, you look at this guy, right, and he's obviously like an MMA fighter, he's got the gloves and everything. And there was already karate guys, there was already wrestling guys. All of the, like, sport hand-to-hand combat stuff had been done.
Yeah.
And I was like, so what's the next evolution of fight figures if you've already done that?
You're right.
And for me, it was like, oh, it's like battle. It was like, it's like war, you know, it's like, it's not just a fight figure, they're like a battle figure at that point.
Right.
And I was like, I think that naturally in your head, like you think war, and it's like, oh, well then maybe they're like soldiers, and I was like, I didn't really want to go that route. And I think that this is the point when like the Motu stuff starts to trickle in, right? Because I was like, I love dark fantasy, but I also love like black metal, doom metal, all that kind of stuff, and I love the themes that are attached to it.
Right, which is mostly dark fantasy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, what if I just did like black metal fight figures, basically, or like doom metal, like dark fantasy fight figures. So it's not just a. And then this is like what's funny is we've never put it on anything, but like the official like tagline to Cultists is, it's not just a fight, it's a battle.
Ooh.
Like I've always thought of it as like the elevated next, you know, the next step.
That's a good tagline though.
But I never put it on anything. I don't know why.
Put it on a shirt once at least.
Maybe, we'll see. So yeah, so with that in mind, I started designing these fight figures, and originally I was like, ooh, there'll be fight figures, there'll be warriors, obviously, but I wanted them to be warriors based on the 7 deadly sins. And they're like the soul leeches that we do, like the little mini soul leech guys are supposed to be almost like their managers, like almost like they're dudes that like keep care, like, you know, like a sword boy or something like that. Like that's why they would all come with them, and that kind of evolved over time too. And that's the thing about that 3 years where those toys weren't getting made, is I had 3 years to sit here and stare at these designs and these sculpts, because I made resin copies and painted them.
Nice.
So I'm sitting there staring at these sculpts, and like the more I stared at these 3 characters, the more that everything like evolved and changed. And I was like, no, I want to tell like a grander story. Yeah. And then that's when like the Motu starts to seep into me, and it's like, it's a story. It's not just like a device for for archetypes. It's like an actual story.
Right. There's a world here with lore. Yeah, yeah.
And I think that like it's funny because as a kid I didn't feel this way, and I think a lot of people did, and a lot of 80s kids do this, and they're all very like villain first. Like there's a lot of 80s kids are like Soundwave, you know, fucking Skeletor, like Trapjaw. Yeah. I wasn't like that as a kid. As a kid, I very much was like, I'm here for the good guys. I'm rooting for the good guys. Like, you know, and like. I think the closest I got is my favorite Turtles, Raphael, right? He's a dick. But, like, I still was, like, there for the good guys. And it was when I got older that I very much was like, no, it's because, like, the design aesthetics of all the villains from the 80s are so fucking good. Yeah. So, like, Trapjaw and Hordak are, like, 2 of my fucking favorite character designs, like, ever. Nice. And, that's the thing, is, like, as I got older, like, as a kid, I had He-Man toys. But, like, as an adult, I fell in love with Masters of the Universe. Like, I learned so much about that toy line. I've read books and all this kind of stuff, and the more I learned about it, the more I was like, oh, this is the playbook. Like, if you're doing it this way, you're doing it right. Like, nice. Masters of the Universe is like the toy line. Like, it gets how you make toys smart, how you make toys cost effective, how you make toys fun. And then like, even just like how you make toys toyetic, but at the same time, I'll throw a different fake word, playetic, you know, like you,
I like that, yeah. Yeah, that's good.
And I think that's the thing, is I think that it's like, I feel like people get caught up in the idea of like, well, this looks cool, and it's like, yeah, there's more to it than that. Yeah. So the more I learned about Masters, the more it changed how I looked at what I wanted to do with Cultists. Okay. So then I have these 3 characters, Fen, the fox, Cobalt, the 4-eyed wolf.
Nice. I do like him.
Yeah. And Alceste, the blind goat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
And what's funny is, like, obviously there's like some sort of Baphomet representation in Alceste. Yeah. But like, storyline wise, like, he doesn't have the eyes because he used that candle to burn his eyes out, because the candle wax is enchanted and all this stuff. Like, there's a lot of like nuances going on in the Cultist universe. Yeah. Like, it's its own planet. Like, all the characters take place on this planet called Nocturnus, and it's just like all this other stuff. And like I said, like, it's fun for me because I do pull from like black metal bands, doom metal bands, like even death metal bands, and sneak stuff in for like people who love that kind of stuff to catch. But like, it's still very much its own world, its own reality. Right. Like, it's very much built to be like a fun dark fantasy epic. Right. Yeah.
And that's just one of the IPs that you're sitting on. I know you have a few others if you want to talk about it.
I started with Hooligan City. I was working at a GNC. I was making like no money. Yeah. And I was kind of in between a bunch of stuff. Like I had quit working at a comic shop. I was waiting to start. I hadn't started working at a new one yet, which apparently I didn't know was going to happen, but did.
Yeah.
But I just was like, man, I need to do something with my fucking life. So I just was doodling all the time at this fucking GNC, like, you know, helping people to create a team, going back to doodling. Just stupid. And yeah, eventually I was like, I like this. I came up with this character. He's called the Sewer Creep. I met this dude, Steven. He sculpted it. He did a shit-ass job of it. I didn't know any better at the time. You know, I was like, yeah, this is great. And then, like, but I didn't have the eye for engineering. You know, like, I didn't get, like, oh, if you do it this way, there's no coming back. So we sent it in, it got made, and it was just a fucking disaster.
Oh, no.
That toy is rough. I love it, because it's, you know, you gotta start somewhere, right? But it's definitely, like, you have to start somewhere kind of a thing. You look at it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I would do this differently. And when we did. We made that. We've made 4 different versions of the Sewer Creep at this point.
I was about to ask how many variations of it. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of characters that have multiple variations. There's only 2, I think, that we really have, like, done that with a lot. And it's, because there's 2 witch doctors, but that's, and then I guess in the, well, no, because the mini, maybe, I guess we really do have IP.
Yeah.
No, so, but yeah, so the Sewer Creep, like, he kind of started us off, and then in my head, Hooligan City's like a love letter to, like, 80s, you know, B-movie horror nonsense. Like, I love movies like Brain Damage. I love movies like Reanimator. I love, you know, movies like Freaked and Nightbreed. I like junk-ass movies.
Yeah.
And, like, so, like, for me, it's stuff like that. It's stuff like Ninja Turtles. It's stuff like Toxic Trauma movies and Toxic Crusaders and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, I'm like, you know, like bands like Outbreak and stuff like that, where I was just like, that's the recipe. The recipe, like, it's funny because I don't think I pull from, like, other stories so much as I pull from, like, aesthetics and music more than anything, where I'm like, oh, it's this aesthetic and this is the soundtrack, and then that's how we get to where we're gonna end.
Do you have a soundtrack for each series? Do you have?
Kinda, yeah. Like, I always hear, like, there used to be this, like, skate punk hardcore band called Gangrene. So, like, I always hear, like, Gangrene, Outbreak, Ludax. Like, that's, like, Hooligan City in my head. It's like skate punk hardcore shit.
Nice.
Like, trash talk, stuff like that. But then, like, when I'm listening, like, when I picture Cultists, it's more just, like, Bastard Sapling, and, like, what else is, like, just, like, weird-ass shit? Like, Chemists. I fucking love Chemists. And, like, I hear stuff like that, and, like, I'm like, that's Cultist. Like, that's what Cultist feels like to me.
Nice.
And then, like, you know, we do Atomica Exotica, which is our tiki brand, and that's just, like, literally it's just exotic. It's like Martin Denny. Like, you're just...
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, we've been doing Atomica longer than Cultist, technically, because that toy came out 3-4 months before Cultist.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
It was a weird story. Like, so the Cultist sculpts had gone in, and the guy who had them had a fire, and basically, like, everybody's sculpts are destroyed. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make your Cultist toys anymore. They got destroyed in the fire. And I was like, no, they didn't. I have resin copies. Here you go, buddy. And I could see the, like, oh, that's great, you know, like, in his face. And I was like, okay, man, you're not good at hiding that. And he was like, and he'd also been, like, swearing up and down. He's like, I'll do whatever I can to make it up to you. And I was like, oh, well, cool. You can also take this toy I just finished. And again, just, oh, cool, yeah, awesome. But then somehow, I don't know what the fuck happened, but he pushed that through, and I got that, like October, so November, December, January, February, March, like 6 months before Cultist still.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so that Decon, 2018 Decon, we debuted the Witch Doctor.
Nice.
Which is the first character in Atomica Exotica, which that whole universe has never really gotten...
And I was going to ask, because I know you have a love for tiki stuff, and I was going to ask where that kind of came from, or...
My buddy Devin, actually, 100%,
Really?
yeah, my buddy Devin. We used to host midnight movies together, and we'd, like, go up there and we'd, like, you know, razz up the crowd and be like, yo, it's a movie, it's fucking cool. And then the second we'd be in the back, he'd just start talking to me about tiki. And I would just be like, cool, man, like, straight edge, I don't drink. He'd be like, yeah, but, like, really tiki, though. And I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I get it, sounds cool. And he's like, no, man, like, you don't get it. It's like, you can be straight edge and be into tiki. And I was like, I can maybe. And oddly enough, like, all this is happening around the same time my wife just happened to go on a trip to Disneyland. And she came back with one of those shrunken head Trader Sam mugs for me.
I love those, yeah.
And the second I got it in hand, I was like, fuck, he's right. You can be into this. and it like just broke me, and I just went down a hole, and I was like, bro, I need to know everything I can about like fucking Bosco and Martin Denny and, you know, Big Toe and Tiki Diablo and obviously Shag, and like I learned so much about like Tiki culture and just like, you know, the different like how lowbrow art played into it in the 90s, and I just fell in love, and I was like, oh, it's too much, I love it. And like you realize how it like affected so much design stuff that you saw as a kid, and you didn't like you look back, you watch things like Angry Beavers, Rocko's Modern Life, fucking obviously Ren and Stimpy, like all this stuff has that like love for Tiki just snuck into it. Even fucking Incredibles, there's Tiki mugs all over Incredibles, you know? Really. So it's cool, love it, but it just like it kind of broke me. And then I'm like going in this huge wormhole, and I'm just like Tiki, and then I realized I was like, no one makes a Tiki toy. I was like, I'm looking at all these people with Tiki collections like on YouTube, and they're like, this is my Tiki collection, it's mugs, but there's toys mixed in, but it's like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah. Like someone's like, yeah, look at my Tiki collection, it's like mug, Stone Cold, mug, and I was like, fucking weird.
Maybe a Lilo and Stitch something in the
Yeah. Or like there was these old Trader Vic's like cute little islanders, but like those aren't PC anymore. And I was like, I want to make something that can be put next to your Tiki mug and accentuate your Tiki mug, like almost make your Tiki mug look like a full size Tiki. Yeah. And so I made the Witch Doctor. But when I did that, like I don't just like, here's a design, I can't do it. So like in my head, I was like, what is this character? What is the world? Lore, yeah. So Atomica Exotica is called Atomica Exotica because it's a post-apocalyptic Tiki story. It takes place
That's cool.
after Atomic Fallout.
Damn.
And it's like all about these people. There's only like islands all over the world because of all the nuclear fallout and how destroyed everything is and underwater.
Yeah.
And then like you basically like you are supposed to be this character called the Beachcomber, which is a reference to Dawn the Beachcomber. And in that universe, you are the Beachcomber. And I wanted to make it, we never got around to it, but I wanted to make it so the toys came with like passport guides that had like, each one would have a diary entry, and you would learn about this world through stuff like that. Every new toy would come with something special, and then you'd end up with this whole array of trinkets as well as these toys that told you this story of this post-apocalyptic landscape.
Yeah.
And there was so much cool shit for that we've never gotten to do. Like, well, I don't want to say because I don't want people to steal it. So, like, but no, like we made mugs. We've added some characters to that line, but we never really fully got to do the what I had in mind for it. Like I even wanted to do like a radio show.
That's cute.
I thought it'd been so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. It's not. No, you never say never. But at this point, like I'm very much like, it's messed up to say, right? Like you shouldn't play favorites, but it's definitely one of those things where I'm like, Cultist is my favorite thing I do. After that is probably Hooligan City, and then after that is probably Atomica Exotica, and then after that is probably Superior Machines.
Yeah. So Superior Machines is another show that you're working on, right? It's the Hunter X stuff?
Yeah. So right now, that's the name of the line. The line is Superior Machines. Right now we're working on the show for May, which is called Decimation H.
Nice.
And it's because we are going to decimate Hunter X. We're going to just retire it completely.
Right.
So I wanted it to go out with a bang. I've always wanted to do a sculpt with a finite intent. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've obviously ended sculpts, like we ended Fen at Blackest Dawn, right? But I wanted to go into a toy knowing I was going to end it. Okay. So I came up with all the colorways. I even cut a couple along the way, and just because I told myself, I was like, it ends in May 2026. Yeah. I had this plan from the second I made the toy.
Nice.
I was like, in May 2026, we end this toy.
And then when did you start it?
I don't remember.
Okay. It's been a while.
I make too much shit. There's no way. So I went into this with that intent. We got closer. Today, we put up the lotto for the final online release. Mm-hmm. It'll end. We'll ship those probably May, June. Because we gotta pre-order them and whatever. We'll figure it out. People, toys, whatever.
Yeah.
But in the interim, we'll do this show. Decimation H will be the only time you're ever gonna get the opportunity to get Hunter X one-offs. Mm-hmm. We have figures that are debuting at that show that are only going to be available at that show. I've always wanted to do a toy where I only did it once. Mm-hmm. And not only are we doing that at this show, we're doing it twice.
Ooh.
So we're doing two. Technically, one of them is a full, complete sculpt that we're only going to do once, and the other one is like a variation that we're only ever going to make once.
Right. And I don't know if we have any around here that you can point out, but kind of talk about the Hunter X and what it's modeled after, and like.
The Hunter X is just a big chunky robot because people are easy and they buy big chunky robots.
That's fair, yeah.
I hate talking about superior machines because like it's a love-hate thing for me. It always has been a love-hate thing for me, and I think everybody who collects it knows it's a love-hate thing for me.
Yeah.
Because like obviously I love the subject matter that I based it off of. Like it's a parody of like, you know, a Sentinel.
Yeah.
Duh, it's called the Hunter X. It hunts the X gene. Like but like obviously it doesn't. Just it's not. But like obviously that's coming from a love of Jack Kirby. That's coming from a love of the X-Men. That's coming from a love of like big chunky robots like Mazinger Z and Guy King and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Its squat stance is actually very reminiscent of that robot that Dexter had on Dexter's Lab, the big giant
funny.
city one. I love
Yeah.
that. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it has, like, a lot of things I love built into it. Plus, I do love giant robot toys. I'm just as much of a mark as everybody else is for that shit.
Yeah.
My only thing was is that they became very obvious in the scene that, like, people would just, like, fawn over that shit and would pay any price. And I was like, you guys are playing yourselves. Like, you're giving these guys thousands of dollars for toys. Like, you look silly.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'll make a cheaper alternative. And I did it for relatively low. You know, I think that there's... You know, I feel like sometimes I feel like I could have gone lower, but then this hobby is stupid and it wants you to pay. People are like, oh, I need what is the word I'm looking for? I need superficial value. Mm-hmm. I need to be able to look at this thing and tell myself, oh, it's expensive. And it's like, you shouldn't be collecting toys for those reasons. And if you have a problem with what I'm saying right now, fucking fight me. Honestly, because you should be collecting toys for fun. You shouldn't be collecting them so they match your fucking Supreme fucking backpack.
It's true.
So, I don't care. I don't care if you like me or not at this point. I don't give a shit. So I basically made this toy to point out to that collector how silly they were being and right over their head. And they just bought it anyway. And I was just like, cool, whatever, fine. So I just kept making it. But again, like I went into it knowing I had a finite plan. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it for X amount of time. So whatever happens, happens. And I'll even be honest. The more I did it, the less I wanted to do it. You don't love every project you make.
That's fine.
I think it's just one of those things where it's like for me, it's not. I mean, again, it doesn't come purely from a place of like creative energy. It comes from like a place of like, oh, like yeah, big robots, sure. And I mean, I think I almost soured myself on big robots by doing that because I do love big robots, and I bet they're not fun to paint either.
Yeah, we've seen that over the last few days.
Yeah.
But as frustrated as you sound when you talk about the robots, I've also seen you get super hyped about them. And
oh no, I love them.
Great
I love toys.
Right.
Like I think that's the thing is I love toys. I love making toys more than anything. It's just one of those things where I think for me it's like I get kind of caught up in the they're kind of like a standing flag for like the things I love and hate about this hobby. Whereas like I don't like Cultist is the opposite because I make Cultist for me.
Yeah.
So if people don't like it, I don't give a shit, you know?
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
So I think that's the problem is I think I look at it and I'm like, you are the cracks in the sidewalk.
Yeah.
But I still love it and I still give everything I do 120%.
No,
that's just my nature, you know?
Right.
So even now, like, you know, nobody's fucking dumb here. Everybody knows that it's not cheap to make a sculpt. Mm-hmm. And to put all that money into making a sculpt just to do it once, you're not doing that if you don't love something.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing it because you're trying to prove a point. You're doing it, or, you know, in the sense that, like, you're trying to be like, look, I want to make this fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to Decimation H. I think we're going to do some really fun stuff for it. And I never want to go out not in a bang. You know, like, it has to be big. Like, if it's not big, it's not worth my time.
Oh, that's totally fair. I also, and we've talked about this a little bit the last couple of days, where the frustration is like, this is supposed to be fun, this is supposed to be community, and instead you find competition.
You find competition, and you find people who, like, when they go to show you their toy collection, they're like, yeah, I have this and I have this, but did you know how much this is worth?
Yeah.
Who cares?
And it's like, I don't want to hear price tags. I want to hear the backstory.
Talk to me about your love of the art. Talk to me about your love of the color. Don't tell me how much your fucking toy collection's worth, dude.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. Fair. Same with comics.
Yeah, I don't care how much your comic collection's worth. I don't care what you have CGC'd. I don't care what you turn into a trading card. You're a fucking mark.
Just tell me what you love.
Yeah.
Tell me why you love it.
Tell me why you love it. Like, if you own Fantastic Four #1 and you don't own it because you love Jack Kirby and because you love the characters, or the fact that it's literally the beginning of the Marvel Universe, or the fact that, like, Fantastic Four is the flagship fucking title for first appearances and, like, literally creates the Marvel Universe. Like, if you can't say that shit to me and you're just like, because it's sick and it costs this much, then,
and it's movies.
No, then take that shit somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not here for fucking, like, while you've been here, we've been talking about how we want to make that Scum Pit comic shirt. This is Death to False Collectors.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not here for people who are, like, fucking, what do they call it? Like, Sunday morning quarterback or whatever? When it's, like, the dad sitting there trying to tell the coach how to coach a football team while staring at the TV. Shit like that. Like, I'm not here for fucking people who think they know how comic books should run just because they want to fucking make a bill.
Yeah.
I don't get that shit. It makes me cuss more, sorry.
So, yeah, you've made your own toys. If you also want to talk about helping people, or the people you've helped make toys as well, I know you've got a few people that have IPs that are starting to build out as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've helped Varm, Alex, with his Sailors. I've helped Danny with Los Chingazos. I've helped Leo with Whale Wisher. I mean, me and Grizz have helped each other so much over the years. We've done stuff for bands like Over My Dead Body and Tsunami.
Nice.
I love all that stuff, right? It's great. Like, the Sofubi process is just interesting, but time-consuming, but, like, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you start? You were talking about how you usually start with a drawing out on the
turnarounds.
character.
Yeah. Front, back, side. You'll create your character, and then from there, there's the conversation of whether or not you want that digitally done or if you want that by hand. Mm-hmm. With something like Cultists, we do everything by hand because we want to make sure it has imperfections because it adds to the tone of
dimensions. Yeah.
Whereas like something like the Hunter X is digital because you want really clean forms. You don't want there to be a lot of room for error.
Yeah.
So, it depends on what your journey is. Once that sculpt's completed, goes to the factory. The factory will then make a wax of it, and then they'll use the wax to make a lead mold. And then once you have the lead mold, you just, they send you toys, and you just go, cool, can I get that in, unpainted GID, and then I'll paint it, or can I get it in orange, and then I'll paint it, or black, and then I'll paint it. And you just go from there, and it's just a matter of, like, I will say, this is, like, one thing I will say is that to anybody who's starting a new toy, like, learn how to paint before you start painting your toys. I made that mistake. I learned how to paint on my toys, and, like, there's some runs I look back at, and I'm like, oh, man, that ain't it, and then you can't do it again. I mean, you could like, remaster your toy colorways, I guess. That'd be very Taylor Swift of me. Or Integrity, depending on what genre of music you want to point that out in.
That's really funny.
It's
the 10-year edition.
DeWitt does that shit too. He's like, it's a remaster. Humanity's the devil. It's like, yeah, that's how you got the rights back, dog. Yeah, I think that's the thing, is I think that I regret that I learned how to paint on my toys. And some friends' toys too. Sorry about that. But I really wish that more people would, like, paint more and, like, really kind of, like, learn how to use the airbrush, how to use how to, like, hone the skill set.
Yeah.
And then that way your toy isn't basically, like, your whipping boy.
Right.
Right. But it's a fun process. I love it. I spend hours in my studio. I'm at the comic shop probably 3 to 4 days a week. I'm in my studio the other 3 to 4 days. Like, I don't take days off.
Yeah.
I think I took 3 days off in 3 years. That's it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't really need days off. I love what I do.
Good point.
Yeah.
So you're never working then? You're just always having fun?
No, it's like weird. Like, I'm perpetually stressed out too. It's like this weird thing of, like, I love this, but fuck, like, that's basically how I explain it. Like, I'm perpetually annoyed. I tell people all the time, I'm like, I'm not mad, I'm perpetually annoyed.
Yeah.
But, like, you fall behind on stuff, and so, I'm doing the best that I can.
Yeah. No, I would say so.
No, I think it's good. I think it's fun. I definitely think that, like, Sofubi is what it is. It's an amazing thing. I love the medium. I love the design aesthetics. I love looking for complication in simplicity, because it is such a simple type of, you know, structure. You can't get too involved with it.
Yeah.
And I love that, but I definitely think that at some point I reached a point where I also was like, there's more than just this, and that's the itch that I have now.
Yeah.
You know, like your hand over the open flame, and I'm like, any second now I have to pull away.
Right.
But I don't ever want to stop making Sofubi toys. I just don't think that I have the.
Keeping up with the scene is a lot.
Yeah, I don't have the keeping up with the Joneses of it at all. It's pretty much what it is. I'm like, I'm gonna make whatever the fuck I make. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I don't really care if you like it or not.
Yeah.
I own a comic store. You don't. No. But like seriously, like I don't. I feel like when you start doing stuff like that, like if you start trend chasing or anything like that, like you're taking a little piece of you every time, and you're like pulling it away. And I don't want to do that. Like I mean, the whole point of being a toy maker or getting into this kind of stuff is doing what you love because you love it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like you're playing yourself at that point. I don't want to go down that road. So I'm just like, I'd rather, you know, write comics that I love. I'd rather make toys that I love. I just want to do fun stuff. Like, I mean, this guy, look how fucking cute this guy is. He has a little rattle hand.
I forgot about the rattle.
So cute. Like, I don't, like, but he's brutal as hell. Like, he's black on black, for God's sakes. I just, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't.
And that's the fun about your stuff, because every now and then I'll come in and you have, like, things from two different series combined.
Yeah.
Like the Hooligan series and the Cult series, and just
or like atomic stuff, yeah, and like
yeah, and not afraid to get weird with it, which is important.
We love getting weird with it. Yeah,
it's a requirement. Actually,
there was always this message board. It still exists. Skullbrain still exists. I still have a love for Skullbrain to some degree. I'm just never on there, but on Skullbrain there used to be like a mashup thread, and that's all we talked about was mashups. And you'd be like, "Oh, did you know that this fucking head fits on this body, and you can do this?" It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And I live for that. So that's like one of my favorite things about making a new toy. Is more often than not, certain cases it's just not going to happen, right? But more often than not, if I can take a toy and be like, let's find out where these pieces go, I will literally just start taking toys apart and seeing where things fit, and then being like, oh, that's save that for later, right?
Yeah.
Like we did a show. Not this past September. Was it this past September? I don't know. We did a show called Scumbags or something like that. I don't remember. I'm fucking tired all the time. And I did Hunter X bodies with sewer creep heads on them and called them space creeps.
Nice.
Because they looked like it was just a sewer creep in a giant spacesuit.
Yeah.
And we did like, I think 3 of them. And I was like, I'm never doing these again.
Nice.
Not because they were hard to do, but just because I was like, I just want to do it once.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing is, it's like it was a fun mashup. It was really fun, and I was like, but I don't want it to become
the thing.
Yeah, I don't want it to oversaturate. I thought it was just fun to do, and then I saw the people who took them home, and I was like, cool. I love those dudes. The fact that I know where all those pieces are, great.
That's fun too. Yeah. So, you've got the shop. You've got your toys. What?
I do. I have those things.
Yeah, it's true. What do you want, and maybe we already touched up on this a little bit, but what do you want for the future, whether it's your future in comics or the future of comics for the industry? Like, what are you hoping for?
Fun. For comics, just fun. I just want people to make good books. I don't want them to get caught up in trying to make shit into movies. I don't want them to get caught up in trying to get like, there was this period in comics where every jack-off wrote like a 6-issue run at Marvel just so they could get like their name on something, and then immediately went to Image and was like, oh, here's a creator-owned. Yeah. And like half the time the creator-owned wasn't even fucking good.
Now it kind of feels like the opposite. Now it feels like you need a few creator-owns before you
That's
get
how it used to be. Like, you used to have to like be an indie kid to get in with Marvel and DC. Like, they had to notice you were talented.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of dudes I think that they were just getting off the boat, and it was like, oh yeah, okay, like you know, I'll fucking shit talk someone. Elscott sucked. Elscott sucked, and that's exactly what he did. I don't care. If you don't like me, fuck off with that nonsense. He literally did like a 6-issue run of Secret Avengers and was like, oh, I'm done, going to Image. And it's like, bro, like, you didn't even like, you were a blip on the radar with your 6-issue Secret Avengers run. Like, what the fuck ever. Brandon Graham did it too, but...
that's complicated, though.
No, it wasn't Brandon Graham. It was the dude who did that, because I like Brandon Graham. It was Brandon Graham. It was the dude who did that Batgirl run, the Burnside one, where she's like on motorcycles and shit like that.
Oh, where she's in college?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dude wrote that arc.
Yes.
I can't remember his name. Someone's gonna blast me for it. Fucking everybody in there like, well, actually, but it's like, bro, I know, I read it. Move on. But he immediately did Motor Crush. Like he left and just took that concept even and was like, let's just.
And that was on hiatus for a little while, and I don't even know if it like fully like finished. Like
I didn't mind it. That's just another example.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to shit on that dude. L. Scott, I am trying to shit on, but yeah, I don't like. It's just I think that was a weird era, and I don't want people to go into comics trying to feel like, how do I make an IP that gets me on Netflix? Because that's a fucking.
It is.
It's a losing battle.
Yeah, it really is like hard to hear people.
I mean, look at Mark Millar, dude. Like fucking Mark Millar didn't get shit out of being for Netflix. Yeah, he got the bank, but like,
yeah.
I don't see Jupiter's Legacy season 2. Where the fuck's that at?
Right, or Magic Order.
Yeah, I'm saying like all that stuff's good. That stuff's great. Why didn't I get Chrononauts? Why didn't I get a Chrononauts fucking show?
That or Space Bandits.
Yeah.
I want a Space Bandits show.
Same.
That was a good volume.
I'm saying like he does great work, and then I feel like you hand that kind of stuff off to people who don't care about your work, and then it gets bastardized, and then you're like, cool, that was a waste of my time.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, it was a waste of your time. Like you went into like you could have just kept making rad comic books instead of spending like 8 months in developmental hell with Netflix.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that era is kind of starting to wash away. I mean, look at how many good things got ruined. Why the Last Man, DMZ, Swamp Thing. Like, there's so many things that you love that you're like, oh man, I'm not gonna shit on Preacher. I love Preacher too much. You see what I'm saying? It's just like one of those things where you're like, I don't want people to make comics for that reason. I want Marvel to get its head out of its ass.
Yeah.
Who's their fucking editor-in-chief right now? Is it Brevoort?
I thought it was.
It
is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Brevoort again. I don't know. Whatever. Fuck that guy. They need someone who actually cares. They need someone there who's not afraid of like Scott and Jean and Wolverine being in a throuple. Like, duh.
Wolverine definitely has 2 dicks. Canon.
Oh, nice. Is that from when the Hood shot it off and then it just grew back and he was like, oh, I already had one. What?
Yeah,
like,
really. No, there's a few different covers that like kind of point to him having 2 dicks, and then they make reference to it in Hickman's X-Men. So it's a canon thing.
So, all right. On that note, basically my point is like I just want people to write comic books for fun and because they love those characters. I want people to be on books that they love the characters.
Right.
I mean, it's nuts, but like Thundercats is so good, and it's because they love those characters.
Right.
Yeah, like you can tell that Duncan Shelby like loves writing Thundercats, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, it's like if you put someone on Space Ghost, make sure they love Space Ghost. Like if bring back Evil Ernie and give them to me, I'll write them because I love Evil Ernie and it'll be amazing. I love Evil Ernie and I love fucking like grotesque skate metal and like thrash metal and shit like that. Like I'll have a blast with it.
Person,
yeah, it'd be the best. I grew up on it,
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, I think that's where we're at right now in comic books. Is so many of us grew up on comic books that those people writing comics need to remember that and be like, oh, I'm here for the fun. You don't need to subvert expectations, Ryan Johnson. You don't need to like sit here and do these things to try and like show the reader that you're smarter than them.
Right.
Who cares? Like sometimes the most like predictable ending is still the best ending.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other thing. Basically, I just want comic books to be fun. I want people to go into it knowing that they're having a good time and coming up with weird ass ideas.
Yeah.
As far as for me, it's similar. I want to have fun, but more than anything, I think I just want to focus on new things. I want to write more comic books. I want to build the Cultist universe out that way. I want to go smaller. I want to try and like make it feel more special. I want to make Cultist releases that are like niche and tiny and stuff like that. I want to do. We're talking about redesigning Cultist as a toy line altogether and doing it as an actual action figure toy line.
Yeah.
And I want to do that because I feel like more and more, I feel like I've been alienated from this. As much as I love this, and I want to do something different, and I want to do something that. I don't do things for money. Mm-hmm. I don't do things for praise. Mm-hmm. I don't do things because I have a small, very fragile ego and I need validation.
Right.
I do things because I have to challenge myself. That's all it is. And I just wish everybody thought that way, where it's like, I need to keep going because I have to prove that the next thing on the list to myself is doable, is achievable.
Nice.
And I think that that's the thing is, it's like I've made so many Sofubi toys at this point. I couldn't honestly give you a number. Like, I don't even know how many toys I've made at this point.
Right.
And that's great. That's cool. I love that. I love that I couldn't even give you a number.
Yeah.
I know there's over 17 cultist characters right off the bat. So I'm like, who fucking cares? But at the same time, it's like, and I've written comic books now, and I own a comic book shop now. And it's like, I just want to keep, like, I collect accolades. I collect achievements.
Yeah.
That's what I collect.
That's good.
And it's like, for me, it's like the next thing is like, well, what is that? It's like, I'd love to do animation. I'd love to do action figures.
Yeah.
I would love to just kind of keep crossing things off the list. I don't fucking care if 1 million people or 10 people see it.
Yeah.
It's not for them. It's like, again, it's, if you like it, awesome. If you want to talk to me about my toys or other toys or my comics or other comics, great. I love all these things and I will talk to you about them.
Yeah.
And I will be your best friend. But I don't care. I don't care if like 1 million people love what I do or 5 people love what I do. That's not why I do it. I want to be able to, at the end of the day, walk my home and be able to tell look myself in the mirror and be like, look at all that shit you did.
That's good.
That's the best feeling.
Yeah. And I think people get
just
hung
make
up.
shit.
And I think people do get hung up on like followers or trying to break out of whatever algorithm
I hate
seen
the
on
internet.
social media.
No, I hate social media so much. If I didn't own businesses, if I didn't have, like, honestly, if I'm not like actively talking to people, because I love it if people hit me up and we start talking about toys. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if I'm not like interacting with people, I don't want to sit there and doom scroll anymore. I'm so over that kind of shit. You know what's funny? A lot of people TikTok, right? Just TikTok, right? Or Instagram, right? Just Instagram.
Yeah.
eBay. I spend all my time hunting toys.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, ooh, I need that weird fucking, rare Motu figure. Ooh, I need this issue of Evil Ernie I'm missing. Ooh, I need an original Tony Daniel page from the 10th.
Right.
I do. Find me a page
if anyone has
of
one.
the 10th by Tony Daniel. I want one with the girls in it. I don't want one with rando characters in it. I want one with like Esperanza or Adrenaline in it. If you have these things, sell them to me because they can go on my walls.
Comics, Albuquerque.
Yes.
Get a hold of this man.
Yes. Also, if you make something, I just want to say this right now. If you make something and you want it shown in a store and you want it represented in a store and you understand how wholesale works, all you have to do is hit me up and I will probably wholesale your stuff and carry it in the store because I want you to have that platform. Because like I said, just make shit and it will figure itself out. Like, people will help you find your people. That's all I care about.
You're doing the Lord's work. That's what artists and creators need.
I don't like that word. I'm doing the dark Lord's work.
You're doing the damn's work.
There you go. All right, yeah.
And I think that's it. I think that's all my questions for today. Thank
cool.
you.
You're going to have a weird structure with this.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
You're going to have these moments where I'm like very much like, this is the end. And it's like, no, this is the end. You know? Like, but yeah, no, it was fun.
Nice. Yeah, no, thanks for sitting and talking. And if you're in Albuquerque, New Mexico, check out Scum Pit Comics.
Mm-hmm. And read our comic, because well, why the fuck not? What are you going to do? What are you doing? You're not judge me.
I own a comic book shop.
Yeah, come to the comic shop. We'll talk comics. We'll talk toys. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're looking for anything in particular, reach out too, because I know you have just a vault of toys that
and information.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But thank you, sir.
Come to Scum Pit Comics. Deal with it.
Deal with it.